Aiden Fern pushes the face-off ahead for the Haudenosaunee, and they've got the first possession. And Fern, who's faced off against Bo Columbus often, there is some past history between these two, gives the Haudenosaunee tonight some optimism. They can limit the possessions of Canada. They can be right there in the game. And in the bigger picture, this game does not have any seeding implications. Canada is locked in as the 2 seed behind the United States. They are 2-1. The Haudenosaunee, they're locked into the 4 seed and opposite the United States in a potential semifinal matchup coming up later this week. Colton Marquis, who gets the start on the attack, skips it back there. Haudenosaunee is 1-2. They lost last night to Australia 13-7. And goal for Canada, Lehigh University's Caleb Creaser of Huntsville, Ontario. And for the Haudenosaunee, that was Clay Scanlon handling. That skip pass did not get all the way through for the Haudenosaunee. 3 new starting attackmen today. Caleb Creaser, though, jumps on that loose ball behind cage and outlets, and here come the Canadians. For Canada, same attack unit that they've had since the opening game. Carter Page of St. Joe's, Ross Scott of Rutgers, Owen Hiltz of Syracuse. Hiltz coming off of a tournament best 5 goals and 1 assist last night against England. Ross Scott, the first midfield of Brock Haley of Vermont, Graydon Hogg of Albany, Thomas McConvey will be a grad transfer next year, Virginia, after a brilliant career concluding in the spring at Vermont. And goal for the Haudenosaunee, perhaps one of the top goalies in the tournament, Jack Van Valkenburg for the Haudenosaunee from Syracuse, New York. He started just 1 game at Albany so far in his 2-year career. He's been just marvelous here for the Haudenosaunee, highlighted by a 19-save effort against the U.S. 2 games ago. That pass by McConvey, and he was looking for Scott there on the sneak, and the Haudenosaunee will come up with the turnover. And Van Valkenburg's confidence has truly grown even with each passing game. And the Haudenosaunee, they've been able to kind of line up their offense. Look at Caleb Creaser in the 10-man ride, recovering to steal and intercept rather than scrambling to goal. Trent DeChico transitions. Wow, Caleb Creaser acting like a linebacker that dropped back in coverage off that 10-man ride rather than escaping to goal. With a flag down, off the cut, that's McConvey. Getting it from Carter Page, 1-0 Canada.
Thomas McConvey with the first goal of the game for Canada.
Page with his first points yesterday against England. And Thomas McConvey's 4th of the tournament. He's pursuing a master's in accounting next year at Virginia after graduating from Vermont, where he was the America East Offensive Player of the Year and the most outstanding player of the America East tournament. Matt Brown calls him a power forward out of the midfield. He's been planted on the right side at times as a shooter when Hiltz has not been in there in a little bit of a wrinkle. Fern, Columbus of Robert Morris University, wins the faceoff. Hiltz, look out! He punches the corner, 2-0.
But not before Owen hits with the snipe, top left for Canada.
Columbus able to lead the break. His first assist. And Hiltz, one thing he has done in this tournament, he has shot without hesitation. He went through a little bit of a shooting slump for a period. And within games, perhaps a little bit against Australia, but I think the coaching staff has told him to forget about it. And Owen Hiltz certainly yesterday, 5 goals and an assist against England. There's no wasted motions. Columbus and Fern. And with a flag out against the Haudenosaunee, and the Haudenosaunee will come up with the face-off. So down a man, and trailing 2-0. Let's see if they can kill off the rest of this time. The Haudenosaunee starting Colton Marquis on the attack today with Keelan Seneca of Albany. Marquis is a Johns Hopkins signee for next year as a freshman, and a sophomore at Albany, Amos Whitcomb. So a different look to the attack. This taking it to goal is Barnes. Down a man, Haudenosaunee is on the board. Luizangas Barnes. A big righty attackman, and it's gonna see a little time today in midfield. He's like a freight train, 6'1", 245. Box lacrosse player, spent 1 year at Onondaga in 2020, another Hill Academy of Ontario product. Did not play college in the last 2 years, but had been playing well this summer for the Six Nations Junior B in the Ontario Lacrosse League. And he had started the first 3 games at attack. Fern forces Columbus back. Jacob Piscino, number 4 in black for the Haudenosaunee, has been their best defender, and he could not come up with a ground ball. Here's Canada with the Poles remaining in, and the Haudenosaunee changing their midfields. For the Haudenosaunee, the low D of Jacob Piscino of Albany, Julian Freeman, one-time player briefly at St. John's in 2020, and Stone Jacobs, terrific short stick D midi at Vermont that has played with a pole this entire tournament. The long pole midi, one-time Hartford Hawk, Dylan Snow. Coming out in front, that is Scott.
They will maintain possession.
Dylan, you're coming out here, Dylan.
Feed into the high crease. There's Noah Manning on. One hands it over to Adam Poitras. Next pass through, and Piscino with the interception, getting into the passing lane. So the Haudenosaunee, they have not been able to run much at all. Opportunity here. Across this goes, and Creaser was waiting for it. Steps in front of Cree, who was cutting. Creaser has made 2 outstanding plays out of goal. Now Canada transitions. Carter Page surveys the situation. Hiltz is the choice. Van Valkenburg slams the door and throws away the key. Nearing 6 minutes to go, first quarter. It's been a well-played game starting here after 10 p.m. local time in Limerick. Both teams have the day off tomorrow, and they'll be in the quarterfinals of the championship bracket starting on Wednesday. Clay Scanlon of Irving, New York. The throwback, there's McCumber shooting. Creaser fought it off. Ground ball for Canada defensively. For Canada, Levi Virch of St. Joe's in PA, along with Jack Follows and Rochester Institute of Technology's Michael Grace to starting close D. With North Carolina's Matt Wright, along with Josh Ferry of Loyola, splitting the pole position.
My time. There's a ball on the field right there. Stop all clock, please.
An official stoppage. A loose ball that was on the field. The clock is continuous except for an official stoppage for injury or something like that. It only stops in the final 30 seconds in the first 3 quarters on whistles then. Final 2 minutes of the 4th quarter. Hogg got a little bit of a brush screen. Gets it back. Zone look from the Haudenosaunee. Here a bit of a changeup. Hiltz up top. Diving through. Hogg buries it. With something to say afterwards. Taking a little bit of a love tap. Nice find by Hiltz. And Hogg with the face dodge, getting himself to the front. That's Trey Deer, perhaps, giving him that love tap. Fourth of the tournament for Graydon. He led Albany in scoring last year, their 3rd leading scorer. Back in 21, he has started every game. Another Hill Academy product. Columbus, and then his pass back. Piscino is able to knock it down, and then the flag out against Canada. Jacob Piscino, who has been a rock-solid player for Albany, and his profile is being raised here during the tournament. With so much inexperience around him on the close D, the pole position, he's had to be the glue in this situation. Piscino has covered the top guys in Pool A, and he's done well. So Bo Columbus picking up the foul, a 1-minute man up for the Haudenosaunee.
Check it there. Good. Passing lane now. Passing lane. Check it. Good. Hands. You get the hands. Feed him.
There's room and time for the outside for David Anderson, and Creaser again pops up with it. Caleb Creaser playing a full field game tonight. Up ahead for Ross Scott. And Scott's got the trailer. And Casey, rather, as it's settled in here by Canada. Flag down. Then in front, the Canadians convert. So during that man-down situation, Canada does not waste any time. Sam English with the goal. Each team has now scored man down. So English let it rip from the outside. And this game has had a great tempo to it.
There is no flagging on the play. The penalty is offset by the goal.
A hold against Columbus. This has been a worthy battle to watch between Aiden Fern of the Haudenosaunee and Bo Columbus of Canada at the face-off X. Final minutes. Colton Marquis. Quebec native, Macomber. There is Marquis. Not an easy shot from that position with the defender waiting, and Marquis with great courage to take that. Perhaps even surprising the Canadian defender. It's 4-2.
Back in the fight. Current score is 4-2 in favor of Canada.
That's the defender Jack Follows, I think, expecting Marquis to dodge. And Marquis just takes it and rips it across to the far post. He scored 2 goals last night against Australia. And as a last-minute alternate, now making a start tonight. Andrew Dalton digs out the face-off win. Still time for Canada. Here comes English, so does Hahn. English into the crease. That was McConvey waiting on a post-up. 5-2 Canada. English with a little bit of a look away and may have opened things up some more for McConvey, a big target. McConvey, someone expected to play in the NLL in the future, perhaps even be a top 5 draft choice in the indoor game. Final seconds, procedure against Bo Columbus. Fern throws it out of bounds, and that's it. This game's got some tempo to it. I think these players are enjoying playing it after 10 p.m. local time. The weather has held up. The action's been good. 5-2 Canada at the end of 1. McConvey there on the doorstep. Hiltz with that bullet, and Hogg with the charge to the front. 5-2.
To shoot right in front of that goal cage.
Hang on to that lead the entire second half. Beautiful shot again.
Just happy to be a part of it right now for all the younger generations and hopefully pave the way for them so little girls younger than me can become Olympians.
Well, the Haudenosaunee very much in this game as we start the second quarter. Ralph Bednarczyk back with you from Limerick, Ireland. Lacrosse, late nights, after dark. Midnight, perhaps a possibility for someone to get a goal tonight. Shot 7-4 Canada. Haudenosaunee 5 of 8 at the face-off X, and procedure called against Bo Columbus. So Aiden Fern getting the better of it right now. And can the Haudenosaunee pay off some of these extra possessions that they have not been getting against either the U.S. or Australia last night? Trey Deere. It's a very young Haudenosaunee team. A number of high school class of 22s on the roster. Canada, much, much older. Feed down low, that's a tap in. Urdis McCumber with a quick stick. 5-3. How about that ball movement whipped around?
13 minutes and 50 seconds left in the second quarter.
So McCumber, known for his D-midi speed, be a sophomore at Onondaga. Wing guy on short stick D-midis and someone they prioritized in the tryout process because he doesn't seem to get tired. He gets a run at offensive midfield there. Scored 20 goals this year at OCC. This time, the hold is called against Fern. McConvey, not much of an angle there for Sam English. English getting it back. High pass off the stick of Brock Haley. Haley leaned on by the D-midi Cree. Timeout, Canada.
Timeout called by Canada.
So out of a tough spot, they will keep it. The matchups in the first round of the championship bracket are now set. These two teams will get day off tomorrow. And how about Ross Scott's performance? He's coming off of 3 goals and an assist against England. So much made heading into this tournament that he is truly a two-handed player, someone unique that Canada hasn't had at the quarterback position. 3 goals and an assist yesterday against England. Yeah, the speed dodge from behind. And it's taken him time to get on the same page with his teammates. That was Carter Page, who's had just 5 assists this year at St. Joe's, big crease finisher with the assist. Then Scott looks for some room, used the defender a bit as a screen. And he gives the Canadians some optimism should they face the Americans again. Just being the #1 guy that teams have to cover. His grandparents are from Canada. A one-time verbal commitment initially to Vermont before going to Rutgers. Played a little bit his first 2 years as kind of on the second midfield before exploding this year as an ex-attackman with 75 points. And he, like his dad Ross, who played ice hockey at St. John's of Minnesota. He was an ice hockey player growing up in West Lynn, Oregon. But his Canadian heritage brings him here. Canada out of the timeout.
Eagle! 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 Eagle!
As Scott works on Stone Jacobs. They'll skip it for McConvey. Got himself free. Whoa, he toasted the defender. And there were defenders trying to get out of the way of that one. Big game here in the first half for Thomas McConvey.
Thomas McConvey with the goal for Canada. Puts them up 6-3.
So his 3 goals have all been a little bit different.
Left in the second quarter.
And showing his great versatility, how he can be used. His 60 goals this year at Vermont set a single season program record. Columbus kicked it ahead, and the pickup by the Haudenosaunee. There to grab it is Buffalo, New York's Julian Freeman. Pretty much a 10-man ride again by Canada. Piscino, nice stick fake. Then behind the back to pick up the clear. Creaser just now getting back to his crease, as Creaser has been playing as sort of like a free safety. And the Haudenosaunee did not pull out that lowest attackman somewhere into the corner. Australia scored on Canada via a 65-yard shot from their goalie, Lachlan Hodge, to beat the Canadians' 10-man run. This ball intercepted right at Creaser, pass a touch behind Colton Marquis. So Creaser has been impressive today for his work out of cage. In the opening game against the U.S., made 9 saves. He was outstanding. Both goalies in that game were terrific in a 7-5, grinded out 6-on-6 kind of a game. It was really a chess match. 2 teams figuring themselves out and trying to figure out the opposition. Noah Manning, they give him the left hand. Now 2-man game, shot by Haley Van Valkenburg. Looked like he knew the shot, where it was going before Haley shot it. Freeman under pressure and sails it on his teammate. Stone Jacobs on that assignment against Ross Scott. McCumber has Hogg. They get the slide. That ball in and out of the stick of English before he can rip. Now McConvey against the high schooler Deer. English. A pass in between teammates. Canada's Owen Hiltz regroups. And then the intercepted pass, telegraph pass to Haudenosaunee. Trey Deer, the defensive play. Fine instincts there. The Haudenosaunee, Piscino, Deer skips it. Active stick by Grace at 6'5", able to knock it down, then get on it. Creaser, as he sends it ahead. DeChico. Numbers for the Canadians. English shoots. Stick save, Van Valkenburg.
Hey, BL!
Ball out of bounds, possession, Canada.
Yellow! BL!
Scott, oh! One quick shake and then power. 7-3. Deere, who had just made a fine interception, but he got left on an island against one of the country's best ex-attackmen. Canada now with its largest lead. Columbus getting away from Fern. The Haudenosaunee will be the 4 seed. The United States the 1 on that side of the bracket. And the Haudenosaunee would also have to shake off the team that finished in 5th place out of Pool A, England, who went winless 0-4. That would be a potential quarterfinal matchup. Manning.
Fire, Noah, be ready.
Page from the outside. Especially against the United States, Jack Van Valkenburg was able to see the ball great on the outside shots that the U.S. gave him. And at times the Haudenosaunee, it appears, were baiting the U.S. players to shoot from 13 to 15, as most lacrosse teams would do so, but Van Valkenburg was just in a zone where even good looks from 13, he was handling. Oh, that's slick back and forth movement. Adam Poitras, 8-3. Canada able to run the field, and Hiltz, the give and go back.
8-3 over Haudenosaunee with 4 minutes left in the second quarter.
Poitras will be a senior at Loyola. This year, 38 points, shot the ball well, 35%. And 6 man-up goals as a midfielder. Canada separating, they've scored 3 straight. McConvey.
Ross, go behind BL. Ross, go behind BL. Nickel. Levi.
The Paul Levi Virch staying on for the moment, just a probe.
Spin it.
English zigzags. Pass handled by Hiltz. Reversed here for Haley. Scott then comes out in front. Van Valkenburg expecting it low.
Bang it. Good. UX.
English. Haley. One more. McConvey. Perhaps one too many. And the Canadians now here in their 4th game of pool play. And they look like they're playing together. Off a little no-look, McConvey making the dive to the cage. 4 first-half goals, it's 9-3.
Puts them up 9-3 over Haudenosaunee with 1 minute and 39 seconds left in the second quarter.
Scott with just a little pause, and McConvey kind of read his eyes. Fern will muscle a face-off win out. Here comes the Haudenosaunee, Clay Scanlon. And can he get more involved? But instead he turns it over to Michael Grace. Columbus, Haley, even closer, and Scott. Again, Van Valkenburg challenging, I think that.
Timeout call by Haudenosaunee.
With a timeout on the field, Van Valkenburg had to have gotten a piece of that. I can't imagine Scott missing from that close. But the Haudenosaunee spending the timeout with about 43 seconds left, second quarter.
3.5 seconds left in the first half. Canada leads 9-3.
The Haudenosaunee against Australia, they fell last night 13-7. But Colton Marquis, this was his breakout game with a couple of goals and earning the start today on attack. Then the back in there against the D-Mini. Came in with 3 goals, but he's known for having a super hard shot, playing with a great flair. And he was one of the first commitments to Johns Hopkins, to new head coach Pete Milliman when he was hired. And Matt Brown and Bill Tierney and that staff, among others, that recruited Colton Marquis.
Support down low. Diamond hold. Play from there. Go to Sammy, to Sam, right away.
The officials on the field have now the official clock. It stopped here at the University of Limerick. It'll stop on any whistle. Scott up top, another rip by McConvey. Sprawling is Van Valkenburg. Back up for Canada. Restart. Scott. Then the save on Hogg by Van Valkenburg. He continues to play fantastic, as does Creaser on the other end. But Canada has gotten consistent, high-quality looks, and they have a 9-3 lead at halftime. Lacrosse under the lights here late. A 10 p.m. start, but Canada and the Haudenosaunee battling here in Limerick. Back with halftime highlights.
It's coming. The world is coming to San Diego. 30 nations, 30 teams. Only one will be crowned world champion. There's nothing like playing for your country. This is the pinnacle of sport. Be here as legacies are forged and history is made.
Lacrosse after dark here in Limerick, Ireland. Welcome back at the half. The weather has held off despite some earlier scares. Showing you the highlights, the high man for Canada, Thomas McConvey. Virginia and Lars Tiffany are going to love him. There's the feed from Carter Page. The game's first goal. Then Sam English, a little bit of a no-look. Kind of throwing it up to a big center right underneath the rib. And then McConvey, how are you supposed to stop that? He's got 4 goals. Meanwhile, for the Haudenosaunee, this nice skip pass. And Colton Marquis, he's grown a lot in the week he's been here. And Keelan Seneca, nice pass to the doorstep for Urdis McCumber. That would make it a 5-3 game. But then Canada getting the last 4 to close out the first half. 9-3 Canada leading the Haudenosaunee. Lacrosse after dark coming back to Limerick.
Fasten your seatbelt.
The game you've always loved just found a new gear.
Introducing World Lacrosse Sixes.
It's speed and scoring,
Tempo and transition.
athleticism and action.
It's big-time energy packed onto a smaller playing surface.
It's the game you've always loved, brought to you at warp speed.
It's lacrosse on the Autobahn.
Don't blink. This is World Lacrosse Sixes.
And a look at our halftime stats with Canada leading Haudenosaunee 9-3. Focusing in on the saves, Jack Van Valkenburg of Haudenosaunee has made 7. 6 came in the second quarter. And folks, these are not cupcakes. And the Haudenosaunee, the face-off edge over Columbus and Canada at the X. But the Haudenosaunee with 7 turnovers, and they just not been able to get consistent high-quality shots. And then Canada, yeah, they have 4 turnovers, but it's so hard to take the ball away from them when they've got it. 18-6 shots advantage. Late night lacrosse here from Limerick. We're going to be playing well past 11 p.m. local time. Back for the third quarter in a moment. Canada leading the Haudenosaunee 9-3 as we're moments starting the third quarter. Busy day tomorrow. There'll be 4 games you can watch here on our ESPN Plus app. Beginning at 10 a.m. Japan and Jamaica. All the way down to a 7 p.m. game. Same schedule on Wednesday. On Wednesday, the Pool A teams will be back on the field. Columbus wins the face-off and drifts back. Caleb Creaser has made 2 saves, but he's made 2 really good plays outside of goal. Now Sam English. Flag is out, and Haudenosaunee is offsides. 7 players on. Hiltz shooting. Fought off by Van Valkenburg.
With the save.
And here comes the second man up for Canada. On the first one, not only did they not score, they gave up a man down goal.
30-second offside penalty called on Haudenosaunee. Canada is man up.
So McConvey starts up outside. Gave it up to Haley. A stinger. 10-3. Well, the way McConvey's been shooting the ball, you have to slide to him. He's just so big and strong, and you figure, all right, well, you vacate Haley.
They're up 10-3 over Haudenosaunee.
Haley in the opening game against Australia, 4 goals, 3 assists. And perhaps he's going to fill in to the big shoes of McConvey next year at Vermont, where he'll be a senior for the 2-time defending America East champs. In the regular season, he was the 2nd leading scorer in the Ontario Junior A League, having a record-breaking season there. McConvey, stick was checked, it popped up to Hiltz, to the outside it comes, shot is blocked. Great closeout by Jacob Piscino. Along with Van Valkenburg are making tons of plays to prevent this score from being even more lopsided. Those two are playing at a very high level. Jacobs threw it around the stick of Grace. Down low it goes for behind the back. Colton Marquis again.
Marquis with a behind the back goal for Haudenosaunee.
Cree on the dish. But that little deflection
Canada leads 10-4 with 11
goes the way of the Haudenosaunee, with Canada again going or starting to put on a 10-man ride.
Face-off win, Canada.
Columbus has now taken the last several. Caleb Creaser. And his clearing pass a little short, but it is backed up and preserved there by Andrew Dalton. Casino has stayed kind of at the top of the zone defense for the Haudenosaunee. Hiltz as he sneaks it through Van Valkenburg. Similar shot that he stopped earlier. Hiltz with a slightly better angle, and Van Valkenburg upset with himself. Let's see how this got through.
11-4 with 9 minutes and 55 seconds left in the third quarter.
So Hiltz puts it 5-hole. And Canada with the immediate answer.
You can't chicken out and not come up the field. Or he's open, and then we're screwed.
Another for Columbus.
One of those three goes up the field. We have to go all the way up. What should happen is you pass it on.
Second time Canada is led by 7. McConvey, and again gobbled up by Van Valkenburg. These are all, many of them are clean looks. And relative to the level of competition through pool play, you would say that the goalie of pool play has been Van Valkenburg. He's also played every minute. And the other 4 nations in this pool have been splitting their goalies.
Wall, we're trapping.
Marquis drew the help defender, and he is tied up by Canada. Recovery by David Anderson. Skips it across. McCumber doesn't pull the trigger. Marquis, shovel shot, goes high. No backup. Creaser on high alert. Goes and gets it. Canada not wasting any time. Dalton. Haley in transition. Scott fights his way through and ends up on the stick of Dalton. That's a D midi that pulls that off. Andrew Dalton, but a Canadian, so that's very much in their arsenal. He'll be a sophomore at Cornell and a utility guy. Played just 6 games for the Big Red. Reaching the national championship game, but at the end of this season, he was playing on the wings. He was starting to cause some havoc, coming up with ground balls, and played his best. Came through the Salisbury School in Connecticut, doing a PG year there, but there was no season in 2020. And of course, one of the many out of the Ivy League in 2021 that did a gap year. The small likelihood that there would be a season.
Canada shot goes far right. They will maintain possession.
Scott the shooter. Graydon Hogg. Hawk, that came to Poitras as he made the cut and he drifted here. Canada keeping up the pressure. They scored 18 against Australia in their second game. Held to 13 by England as England switched to a zone. And after Canada got off to a big lead, they weren't able to push it to the upper teens. And Canada against the U.S. got off to a slow start. Hog's pass high of Scott. So Haudenosaunee absorbed another series of shots. Canada again, 10-man Rye Creaser this time up to the restraining line. There's Gregory Elijah Brown. And then they throw deep, and Creaser gets back to goal. Marquis, shovel shot, Creaser fights it off. Manning transitions. Down low it came, they look for Ty English. Sailed pass from Haley. This time Canada backs off. Free clear. Mentioned Caleb Creaser and his remarkable story. I'm sure his head coach at Lehigh, Kevin Cassis, is certainly following what's going on here, making 9 saves and getting the start against the United States. In 3 years at Lehigh, he has not started the game. He's played a combined total of 30 minutes. There's been a great goalie there just ahead of him at Lehigh, and it's a numbers game for this position. But he'll go into next year as James Spence graduates, who was second-team All-Patriot League last year and had a very good career. And Creaser looks like he is more than capable of leading Lehigh through the Patriot League tournament into the NCAAs. Scanlon works on Ty English. Now outside it comes. McCumber. Creaser chases. You gotta like his work. And he won the narrow goalkeeping battle, at least for game 1 against the U.S. from a different goalie, 6'4", Aiden Walsh was more of a box goalie and is a pro with the NLL's Georgia Swarm. Being fundamentally sound consistently through the tryout process. That one is hard to stop though. Louis Zongas Barnes, second of the night, 12-5.
Barnes with the behind the back goal for Haudenosaunee.
As Keelan Seneca found him. And tonight, despite the score, Haudenosaunee, I think, has taken substantial steps forward towards looking what Coach Mark Burnham imagined they might be. They had a mini camp on August 6th and 7th in 6 nations, and flying out of Toronto together as a team. They ended up with a much younger and inexperienced roster than their first roster that they came out with in 2019. And short on defensemen, but they found a goalie. Vecino, a little bit coming out of nowhere as a player. He has led this group. Stone Jacobs. Keelan Seneca has got 2 assists tonight. Half minute left, third quarter. Trey Deere. Deere had the cutting Anderson. Grace will let it go out. It'll go to Canada. But the Haudenosaunee, I think, what strikes me, they're looking more comfortable. They're taking some more risks. You're seeing the flair that they play with show itself a little bit more tonight than in their first 3 games. And then it helps when you can play and know you have such confidence in your goalie in Jack Van Valkenburg. Nevertheless, 12-5 Canada as we head to the 4th quarter from Limerick, Ireland on ESPN+.
Have you booked that trip to Ireland yet?
Press the green button and visit the island of Ireland. See Ireland.com.
Canada continues to control the tempo of this game, but we've seen signs that the Haudenosaunee could challenge and perhaps be right there to compete and take the bronze and maybe make the game interesting should they meet the United States in a semifinal game later this week. Shots are 27-12 Canada as we start the 4th quarter. Ralph Bednarczyk back with you. It is after 11 p.m. local time. Late night lacrosse. And after we had a series of lightning delays, there was no lightning or thunderstorms here in the area, but within the general radius where the alarm meters go off. So the U.S.-Australia game was delayed twice, once right before the face-off and then during the game. Then this game was delayed, also about a minute or two before the opening face-off after the national anthems. And then when we came back, because the ensuing fields, the side fields here, don't have lights, Sweden versus Hong Kong, China took priority because that was to see who would capture Pool E to set up the playoffs in the platinum round. English shot, Van Valkenburg makes the save. So he is up to 11 on the night. Canada digs out the loose ball. So Sweden, Hong Kong, who had played about 10 minutes of the first quarter on the other field, finished the game here. Finished it up under the lights. Hong Kong, China, by the way, defeated Sweden 10-4 to finish 4-0 in Pool E. English to the wing, and some pipe there from Poitras. That game ended about 9:30 local time, and with a short turnaround, Canada and Haudenosaunee warmed up on a side field here. And we started right at 10 local. Haley stopped. That's a great look from 9 yards.
Bang it, bang it, bang it.
Scott
Keep it simple.
and Canada continues trying to maneuver through this Haudenosaunee zone.
Move the ball, move the ball, move the ball, move the ball.
Knockdown pass by Jacobs. Scott, deflected pass, near midfield. Piscino scoops it up. So the Haudenosaunee get the stop. So Matt Brown and Mark Burnham, the respective head coaches here, had to be told, and by the way, as soon as we're ready to go, you're going to have to wait even longer, nearly 2 more hours to play. Now that was still with the weather forecast showing, even as of this afternoon, a high percentage chance of thunderstorms and lightning here in the Limerick area. So I think all things considered, we made out very well to get to this point with at least no precipitation, just lightning warnings off in the distance. Clay Scanlon has been held to 2 assists in this tournament. A super player in the senior box will get interference called against Canada.
Interference called on Canada resulted in turnover possession and back to Haudenosaunee.
Flag is out against Canada. Free shot, Haudenosaunee. To the crease it comes. Creaser makes the save. The sneak from Seneca. Haudenosaunee will go man up for the second time.
Interference call on Canada results in Haudenosaunee.
Creaser's 4th stop. He did a post-grad year at the famed Hill Academy through the Edge Lacrosse program. Caleb has the goal of becoming an orthopedic surgeon. Scanlon chopped at. And the ball reversed to the weak side, and that shot from Gregory Elijah Brown goes. Haudenosaunee converts on the man up.
Gregory Elijah Brown with the score for Haudenosaunee.
Big credit to assistant coach Vincent Longboat of Haudenosaunee that they had to add him to the roster after his great year this year at Onondaga.
We're good.
13-9 in faceoffs. Fern and Columbus have taken every single one.
Here we go, diamond, spin it.
Manning again given the lane to try to tempt him to use his offhand. Now he sweeps. Noah Manning one-hands it. Here's Haley.
Spin it. Stay high. Get through. Drift,
McConvey. That's Trey Deer trying to rough him up. Hogg. Flag is out. He took, I think, a late cross check. They call it a push for 30 seconds. I think the cross check could have been in play there.
Pushing penalty call on number 19 for Haudenosaunee. Results in Canada man up for 30 seconds.
So Canada, perhaps the only thing they haven't done tonight, they haven't finished man up. They're 0 for 2. Haley, as he sails one.
Canada's shot goes above the goal. They maintain possession.
Push it, Brock. Push it, Brock.
Final seconds. Diving his way through, that was Hogg. Scott tight ropes, and we'll keep it in play. We are all even. Canada did not get Owen Hiltz a look during that man-up. Meanwhile, McConvey pleading with the official about a possible slash.
Eagle!
Now from the wing, and that's a rising shot that exits the field. 6 minutes left.
Watch the inside. Take your time. Eagle. Take your time, Ross.
Nice pass, cross cage behind. Hogg able to receive it from Scott, then take a couple steps to the front. This one just lasered over, 13-6. So kind of a reverse cross cage pass.
13-6 over Haudenosaunee with 5 minutes and 16 seconds left.
But Haudenosaunee has made Canada work for their goals tonight. And while this may have a wide disparity of a final score, I think it'll end up as Haudenosaunee best performance, as they'll fall to 1-3 through pool play. 35-14 in shots. And the zone of Haudenosaunee accounting for some of that high volume. Canada has hit 40 shots once, and then 39 in another game. Haudenosaunee will talk it over here, 13-6. So as Mark Burnham gathers his team together, And Haudenosaunee as a 4 seed. And this represents their best tune-up ahead of a potential semifinal in a couple of games against the U.S. Jack Van Valkenburg again into the teens with saves. So 13 or more in all 4 games here at the tournament. And these are not hollow numbers. He's had to play that well to accumulate that kind of figure. So with this being the last game of pool play, the bracket has been set as of earlier today on both sides. Haudenosaunee next game will be the winner between England and Israel. That game will be played tomorrow. Haudenosaunee throttled England in their first game of this tournament, 14-3. Mark Burnham felt we probably should have scored 20, but did not play an efficient game offensively. It was their first game together. And England last night against the United States, after being throttled in the first quarter, similar to this game, played a lot better over the final, let's say, the last 2.5 quarters. And a respectable finish for England as they go into that game against Israel. Marquis and his pass. Grace steps into the passing lane in front of Anderson and then is able to save it to Creaser. Creaser. And the ride of Haudenosaunee gets it back. Keelan Seneca will take it to safety. Seneca turns and trying to squeeze it through Creaser, who looks around, and it'll be off goal to Chico up ahead. Canada transitions with Matt Wright. Across it comes! And a goal, Poitras. Canada threading the needle with the pass, 14-6.
To make that goal. Puts Canada up 14-6 over Haudenosaunee with 3 minutes and 2 seconds.
Haley on the assist, his 3rd of the night. 2 goals for Adam Poitras. Timeout, Haudenosaunee. 3:02 left. Through pool play, I'd say one of the big themes that, in my mind, has emerged is there is just so much good goaltending taking place, even among the developing countries. Not just the Pool A teams. I think all the Pool A teams have had quality goaltending. But just walking around, seeing the other games, how that position is getting strong kind of across the board. Where these teams and the developing countries like Pool E, Pool D, they're not hiding goalies or goalies that have only had a stick in their hands for a year or two. And it's a real foundational place, I think, for these countries to build up from and then take these goalies at the under 21 level and up to the senior national teams down the road, even if it's not necessarily for 2023 in San Diego and beyond, and in the 6s. So goalies will have multiple functions. As defensive coordinator, Steve Bevel, longtime head coach, a national champion at SUNY Cortland. Was Division I coach at Vermont. Great to visit with him also this week. And he is among the many West Genesee High School grads. I think in the earlier days of head coach, Hall of Fame coach Mike Messier, the all-time winningest high school boys lacrosse coach that there's ever been. Bevel's taken the Cortland Red Dragons to the Division III championship game 4 times and won the title in 2009. And his daughter Liz Bevel now coaching, head coach at Lemoyne. She coached the Haudenosaunee women last month at the Women's World Championships in Towson. That was a scheduled 30-team event, ended up with 29. Great event hosted by Towson and the United States, defeating Canada in pool play there, and then eventually in the gold medal game.
You and Brock switch.
So out of the timeout, perhaps Canada will not even consider shooting. And they want to get to bed and get to their day off tomorrow. Canada's next game will be against the winner of tomorrow afternoon's game between Ireland and the Czech Republic. Ireland, the host country, having Colgate goalie Joe Walsh in net, and the Czech Republic, heavy box lacrosse influence and an entirely homegrown team. And the Czech Republic, truly the blueprint of if you're a country that is trying to develop lacrosse, look no further than what the Czech Republic has done. And now I think you can call it into their second generation of lacrosse players. And they've become the model standard of how to start something from scratch. They've got a tremendous box lacrosse culture there too. Just competing in Hanover, in Germany, in the senior box world championships. Rather, the European World Championships there. Canada got 4 first-half goals from Thomas McConvey. But this was a 5-3 game early second quarter. Haudenosaunee is going to be able to take some positives from this. They were able to face off against Bo Columbus. They had the edge there for a little while before Columbus went on the run himself. And Van Valkenburg is showing that he could be named to the all-world team no matter where Haudenosaunee finishes up in the standings. 14-6 is tonight's final. Lacrosse After Dark ends at exactly 11:30 p.m. local time in Limerick, Ireland. So Canada now focuses into the medal round as the 2 seed. Thomas McConvey, the Big Knights. And we'll show you the brackets now as they are completed. Colton Marquis leading the Haudenosaunee with 2 goals. That's the way it lines up. And you can watch an entire first round, those games all here on ESPN Plus tomorrow from this field, 10 a.m. local time. Why don't you join us then? And this all goes through the semifinals on Thursday. The gold medal game is Saturday night, August 20th. For our entire crew, we thank you for sticking with us through the weather delays in Limerick, Ireland. Pool play has come to a close. The medal round is coming up tomorrow. My name is Ralph Minorchik saying so long and goodbye. You've been watching the 2022 World Lacrosse Under-21 Men's Championship from Limerick, Ireland.